All right, my more brothers, trying to knock these out. This is something that was on the Lapeef network, and I do believe it was called, let me see, Sorry But Not Sorry, Financial Stability is Not Enough to Keep Us Together. A chick critique. And it's only about 6 minutes, but the thing is that it was interesting because this stuff is coming out of a modern woman's mouth, right? Exactly what the modern 92 octane or thereabouts is going to say, and it's filtering on down to the rest of the women, right? Especially the modern black women. White women don't quite feel the same, but black women do. And they're trying. What they're trying to do is they're trying to extract more out of you. Your finances is not enough. Your money's not enough. Your financial ability to actually raise a family is not enough. Now they want other shit, right? Like they said, they want the blend of beta male provider and the alpha showpiece, or the alpha fucks, right? The two sides of the same coin. That's what they're demanding. But I am going to pull up this video file and we're going to get started, so I can knock out some of this stuff.
When you think about financial stability, like, that is not enough. And this only speaks more to the fact that if you are going into this with the idea that financial stability is the only form of stability that you're looking for, you're going to fail. Like, we just talked about the statistics when it comes to marriage. Like, at one point, financial stability or finances was the number one reason for why couples would get divorced. Mm-hmm. But now that's not even in the top 3. Now we're talking about compatibility. How can my partner and I communicate with each other and understand our differences? See,
they're no longer wives. That's why. It's coming right out of her mouth, okay? As soon as the chick says partner, if you want a wife, you want to be married, leave. Leave. Because what she's saying is, what she's trying to say is that, okay, the old husband-wife marriage that used to last 30, 40, 50 years is no longer viable. It's this nebulous partner and compatibility, okay? How do you measure compatibility, especially over the period of 20 years? You can't. She can't.
Being that we're both equal, but we're different in our own respect.
See, that's that feminist shit, right? We're both equal, we're both different in our own respect. See?
We're speaking to that now. People are now waking up and realizing that you need to have a personality going into a relationship. You can't just simply look cute and have money and that be enough, because it won't sustain you. And so I think that just kind of brings back home the point of what...
When she says look cute, is she talking about men, or is she talking about women? Have money and look cute. Is she talking about men, or is she talking about women? In other words, you look good and you have money, that's not enough to sustain you. Now you have to be entertaining. That's what she's saying.
What you were asking before, Shantae, is physical attractiveness more important than financial stability? And further, is financial stability enough? No, you need to have a well-rounded facet of stability to be able to sustain a relationship. And as Ms. Taken was saying, that stability also speaks to being...
How does a 20-year-old, a 25-year-old, even a 30-year-old get to be well-rounded in the way that she's talking about, in a system that doesn't teach you to be well-rounded? So in other words, are you talking about getting married at 40, getting married at 50? Is that what you're talking about? The thing is, it's all these nebulous terms, being well-rounded.
Able to know how to communicate with your partner. And the communication could be as simple as, speaking my language, but it's also understanding and being sensitive to what your partner needs are. In
other words, they want a wife. They want a wife. They want to turn men into wives. That's what she's talking about.
And speaking to that even further, when it talks about the dynamic of where men and women are, contending against each other, are competing with each other, that speaks to the fact that, for a woman, when a man shows up in like his his divine masculine energy. Like,
there they go with that bullshit. Divine masculine energy. That's bullshit. In other words, just go ahead and say it. When he shows up and my coochie gets wet, but they won't say that. When I get a tingle in his divine masculine, just say that's alpha fucks. That's all it is. Look at her grinning.
As himself fully stepping into that role, if you are a woman who sees yourself as independent and you see yourself as not needing a man, you're going to view this man as a threat. And so now you see him as a threat, you're going to look at him as it's an issue. And the same applies to the man for the woman. If she shows up in her quintessence of being a woman and she stands in it fully, and you're not sure what that means, you will see her as a threat. And so now we have a dynamic of where two individuals are unsure of who they are because
exactly. And that's the point. Two individuals that are unsure who they are, right? Because they don't have roles. They don't have divine roles. They don't know what it means to be a husband. They don't know what it means to be a wife. All they know is that I'm looking for a partner that's supposed to be compatible with me, for whatever that means, okay? Because I'm not sure what's going to be compatible for me, and vice versa. She doesn't know what's going to be compatible for her, right? I don't know. So we're going to guess. So if a man steps to me in whatever divine masculine is supposed to be for that woman, which basically that turns me on, is that enough? Or is it, if he checks all the boxes, is that enough? Okay, am I enough for him? Because I don't know what that means. Because I don't know what the check, what the markers are. I don't know how to fit into his life. That's what it means. Anyhow, continuing.
We were taught that our gender role is what defines us as a male or female, instead of what our inherent purpose is. And so now we have a problem with that. And not only that, but we have men who have an issue with women making more money. And I think a lot of men may understand this or even agree with this, is that I don't think men have a problem with women making money. I think men look at it as, now that you make a lot of money, now that you make a lot of money, women have a hard time actually creating an open space for a man to enter into.
In other words, they're taking a man's role, and that means he's got to be supportive. He's got to be the submissive, because that's what she's going to demand, right? That's like men have an issue because women have an issue. Men do not just invent stuff, basically invent stuff out of whole cloth. I have an issue because you're making money. Now, men have a problem with you making money because they've seen this show before. They've seen it in their lives. They've seen how they're treated when women make more money, and they've seen how other people are treated when the wife makes more money. Okay? So the thing is, they don't tell that part of the story.
And show that he is needed. And so now, because that man is not needed, he doesn't understand where or why he should even be in her life. And then this breeds the frustration. And so, we have men and women who are frustrated with each other because I need you. Because if we actually sat down and had an honest conversation without, attacking each other from both sides, we would come to the understanding that
that's bullshit. No, you wouldn't come to an understanding, because you have, because it's been talked about too much. Have an honest conversation. Who's the last people to actually have an honest conversation, men or women? Men have been honest. Who doesn't know what they want? Who actually needs a role, a form to fit in? Okay, feminism has pushed women out there into this world in a man's shoes that they haven't been trained for. They haven't been trained for. It goes against their biology, but they haven't been trained for it, and now they're confused. Okay, and they're trying to project their confusion on men. Men know what they want. You know what? You earn too much money. You got an attitude. You got a bossiness. You come on. You present like a man. I don't need that, and they bounce. Get yourself a homosexual that doesn't need money.
This life that we're living in is based upon a symbiotic relationship. It is about codependency. We need each other to operate and function properly. But once we start talking about that, we then get into the idea that, well, I want to be independent because I was traumatized, and when I wasn't independent, when I gave all my love away, I was abused or I was harmed or I was hurt. And nobody wants to relive number one reason for why couples would.
No, that wasn't it. You wasn't harmed. You weren't hurt. Your feelings were hurt because the life that you expected didn't meet your expectation. You didn't get what you wanted, which is what most women won't tell you. This is basically what I call bitch babble.
It's the frustration. And so, we have men and women who are frustrated with each other because I need you. Because if we walk into this independent, I don't need anybody, and we are building a wall. And not only are we signaling to other people, but we're signaling to two types of different men. one type of man who will see us and be like, I'm not interested. Or then you'll meet a man, or you meet two different types of men where they're like, two categories rather, where one man is like, okay, I like that you're independent. I have these traumas where I may have mommy issues. I don't really care that you don't need me or whatever. I want you to take care of me.
Yes.
Or you have a man who looked at that.
Yeah, men have been dealing with that forever. You're stepping into a man's role. You're stepping into a man's role. The guy that doesn't need you, the guy that is not compatible with you, is not going to pick you. But guess what? You don't like the guy. You don't like the guy that you're compatible with. That's the problem. You just described your problem.
From a completely different from a different perspective, where he's saying, you know what? You like to be in control. I'm gonna sit here and fight and try to I'm gonna usurp you from whatever you think you have, and I'm gonna abuse you. And now we have either verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional, psychological, or all the above. And so now we're going with this ebb and flow of.
And why is it always the man that's abused? Okay, how come you ain't talked about the women abusing, have you? You talk about your fear, because now you stepped into a man's role. You make more money, and the guy that you think that you want, the guy that masters the universe that you think that you deserve, is not picking you. And the guys that you're compatible with, that are supportive, you know how to vet. So now you have to go through the same risk that men have to go through. And this is not just a black woman's problem. Black women have a different issues, but this is also a white woman's problem. You destroyed the contract. You destroyed the framework, and now you're scared because now you got to figure this shit out. And now you want it to be easy. You want men to actually go back and do the work. Bullshit.
How do we make that work? How do we make our necessary roles come back to needing each other? And that's what it becomes. We need each other, but we don't want to say that, because we're afraid of needing each other.
So my question would be, why are you? That's not compatible to me. I mean, if you are a strong-minded woman and this man doesn't like strong-minded women, that just means that you guys shouldn't even be together. Or, I mean, you understand? Because what you don't want to do, in my opinion, is change yourself for a relationship, because it's going to always bite you in the end. Because you'll feel like, I'm just not being myself. I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened in the Megan Good situation. You can only fake it for so long, So why not know yourself, like Della preaches all the time? Be one with yourself and pick a mate who is on board with you, who you actually compliment. You understand what I'm saying?
Because she doesn't like the man that compliments her. She understands. She don't like the man that compliment her. The man that is supportive. The man that feminism actually trained to be with you. You don't want him. She just said you don't want him. I want to be taken care of. But I have to have mommy issues for you to take care of me. She don't like that guy. That's the problem. But she don't want to say that shit. I don't want the guy that's compatible with. She's not going to be honest.
That won't be that drama later on in life.
Because we're focused on physical attractiveness and not actual purpose or things or character. So when you focus on the wrong things.
But could you not say the same if you're focused on financial stability? If you're focused on anything besides a connection.
But that's what I'm also speaking to. I think what everyone is saying. You can't just have just financial stability nor physical attractiveness to act.
Sure you can. If you're dedicated to the marriage, if you're dedicated to the relationship, if you're not dedicated to the system of marriage, guess what's going to happen? It's going to fail. It's going to fail. So that's not what they're saying. You don't want the old roles. You want control. You want your way. You want to be yourself, which you cannot be yourself in a marriage. Okay, parts of yourself are going to have to die. That's just the way it is. When you become a husband, when you become a father, parts of you got to die. Okay, you can't continue. Okay, you can't be loose and wild and all that kind of stuff. You got responsibilities. Parts of you got to die.
Compatible. You need a multitude of all of those things, not just seemingly it being the baseline. Financial stability is everything I need, and then we'll work everything out later. That's how you lead to divorce, because you're working it out throughout. You're not actually taking the time to get to know that person and understand. You're not vetting that person properly. You're going into it with, okay, you got a big bank account, you look like this. A big bank account doesn't tell me that you're sensitive or you're courteous or you actually are polite. It tells me nothing about you. It just tells me how.
Yeah, but the thing is, it tells you what it is. Your online dating, you can't tell that within like the first few weeks. If he has that, you can't talk to him on the phone and find that out. What does courteous and polite mean to you? Is there a standard for it?
A lot of money. Doesn't say anything else about your character, and that's the issue that we're pretty much all saying at one point.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing. We're on the same page with that.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
One or the other. It has to be character. All of that stuff has to play a part. I get it, girls.
That's why, for the most part, all these marriages fail. There's no platform. There's no stability. There's no training. They're not wives. They're partners. And they're looking for a man to make them whole. They're looking for a man to fit into their agenda where they can be themselves in their full self, as they say. Okay? If you want to be your full self, you're going to have to find a partner that compliments you, right? But you don't like that partner to compliment you because he might not look like this, or he might not have this much money. She didn't say all that. You want this narrow little box of males that fits you, that give you, he's gonna make this much money, he's gonna look attractive to me, he's gonna be sensitive, kind, courteous, and all this other stuff. But you never said what you get. This is why marriage doesn't work. As soon as you hear a woman say partner, run. She's not a wife. Why get married? If you're gonna be a partner, you don't have to get married. Why get married? Marriage is for wives. Marriage is for husbands. If you want partnership, be a jump off, be a girlfriend. Be boyfriend and girlfriend. You don't need all that stuff. You want to make a family? Family is something different, because marriage, husband and wife, is to have children. That's what it's designed for. To actually raise children properly in a stable environment. And your happiness and your complete satisfaction is not required, right? It's called sacrifice. And what they didn't say is, I'm going to sacrifice. I'm actually going to sacrifice for my needs. None of that was said. Absolutely none of that was said. This is your modern woman. All that stuff has to be on you. I have to vet him properly. Is he polite? Is he nice? Is he this? Is he that? Just because he has a big bank account, he looks good. That's not enough. I want more. Even though we're talking about a narrow slice of people that even qualify for what she's talking about. And then on top of that, you want him to have this big, buoyant personality. Okay? What if he has this big, buoyant personality? He's a lot of fun, but he's reckless. He's reckless. He's doing stuff that's not stable. Stability is not enough. Even though stability is what you need to raise a family. You got to be, men, especially black men, got to walk on this knife's edge, especially with these modern women, right? These modern women that Kevin Samuels is saying is going to die alone. They're looking for that perfect guy. The thing is, what are you bringing to get that perfect guy? That's how many perfect guys are not picking you. I talk to guys at this level all the time. They're tired of this shit. They're tired of this stuff. They want easy. Black men want easy. Men don't want this difficult shit where I gotta be worried about being sensitive to your needs. I gotta be sensitive to your personality. I gotta be sensitive to your business. I gotta be your psychologist. I gotta be your banker. I gotta be your lover, and I gotta look good on your arm, right? And what do I get for it? For all this work, I gotta be 5 different guys, and I don't even get a salary. I don't get a salary. It's all about you, because it's called being selfish. And the reason marriages break up is because women are selfish. And then they get divorced, and guess what happens? They don't get married again, because they weren't wives in the first place. They're partners. That's when they get married, and they spend the rest of their lives alone. They raise their kids alone. They get a dog. They have a boyfriend, maybe a fuck buddy, a jump off to come by and service them, and they live alone. If you want to live alone, live alone. Stop trying to blame this shit on men. Get your shit together. What are you giving? What are you giving that man for him to be all that? They never even said that. I just have to pick him, and I have to vet him, and I have to pick the right one that's going to be all this. So what is he getting in return? Nobody ever says that, and they never said. Because I always ask this question all the time. You want all this stuff from men, especially black men. What do they get in return? And it always comes back, nothing. Black men are tired of getting nothing for their work. I don't blame them. Getting nothing. So it's not even the risk of getting married, the risk of divorce, the risk of all this other stuff. And in other words, we hold the whole car, all the cars, and if we're not happy, we're going to actually leave you. So men, guess what men say? I'm not signing up for this. I am not signing up for this at all. I don't want to get married. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this headache. A lot of guys get married, stay married for a few years to get divorced. They don't get married again. I don't want to go through this no more. My son, he doesn't want to get married again. He don't want to get married again. He's already been through it. He didn't like it. Why go through all this headache? Because, you don't have wives, you have partners. You're not a wife. Marriage is for wives, not partners. Anyhow, let me bounce off of here. I just had to get that out of the way. I had to react to that. But I'm going to jump off here. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.